As fun as D&D horror stories are to hear and to cringe at and to worry that you might someday live through them, I think it's great to every now and then take a step back and have a look instead at an absolute D&D win and just appreciate that there are some really amazing games and players out there and see what we might be able to learn from that as well. Hi there everyone, Lars finally back with another D&D discussion video brought to you by Camille's Harem. Not just a podcast for novice writers by novice writers, but also a YouTube channel by novice writers for novice writers, because writing is an adventure, it's more fun with friends. And this particular D&D win is something that I myself got to live through, and it was absolutely amazing. So about 2 years ago, I got invited to participate in a D&D game that was going to be run by a first-time dungeon master. This guy, who was a lawyer, had seen the Dungeons and Dragons movie at the movie theater, turned to his wife and said, "If that's what this game is like, I want to do this." So he convinced his wife to let him buy up a bunch of the materials and to start up a campaign and begged her, "Please join us." Well, she agreed, and then they began to invite some friends on over. So I got to come on in, and everyone else were veterans of Dungeons & Dragons. The lawyer and his wife were the first-time players. So it's like, okay, well, this is going to be a little bit interesting. All the veterans are like, "Hey, we're here to help you out whenever you need it." And he's like, "Oh, don't worry. I've got the books here." And we're like, "Yeah, but every now and then it's good to deviate from the books if you feel like that's best for the story." He's like, "Okay, good to know. And then he proceeded to blow us away with a fantastic, sweet campaign. Now, granted, he was using a particular module and a shorter campaign that was already presented in one of the books. Heroes going to an island, discovering the secrets of said island, fighting against an evil blue dragon that is oppressing the kobolds upon this island. Pretty simple stuff. However, it was still a whole lot of fun. Everyone had a chance to do their own role-playing, get a little bit into their characters. Everyone had their own heroic moments. Everyone had their stupid dunce moments where they did something they didn't intend to do and kind of screwed things up. But really, I loved what the Dungeon Master did. And this guy discovered all kinds of things that he ended up being really good at. While his voice acting might not have been the best, he did his absolute best and darndest to get into each character. And you could tell that he just started coming to life more and more from session to session as he started role-playing all of these different characters and coming up with the dialogue and doing things on the fly. One thing that really surprised everyone, including his wife, is that he was an amazing artist. He himself is like, "Yeah, I've actually almost never drawn before," but he started drawing out the maps and locations, and he even created a multi-level map of a downed pirate ship that we had to go into and fight against a bunch of zombies and other creatures and break a curse. It was so cool. And not only that, but the guy also provided tons of snacks and everything. He gave everyone a chance to shine, and it was great. The final session, which is kind of sad because it was right before the couple decided that they were going to move back to Texas for some job opportunities. Hey, if you got to feed the family and get a great job, then you got to do what you got to do. But it was kind of sad seeing them go because, wow, he was having so much fun and he was looking forward to the next campaigns and everything. But the final session was just so great, where again, everyone had a chance to truly shine, to pull off some really great move, from our rogue taking out numerous baddies, from my fighter getting a really excellent shot on one of the lookouts, to the cleric being the one to deliver the final awesome hit on the dragon and take it out, after the paladin had one of the coolest moments ever and basically was a one-man wall against all of these enemies and fought off the dragon and kobolds brilliantly. It was a ton of fun. And what this experience made me realize was a couple of things. Number one, again, as I've said in the past, Dungeons & Dragons is a community storytelling experience. Everyone contributes. Everyone should have a chance to shine, and everyone should have a chance to have their choices matter, even if they end up being bad ones, because this allows for people to communicate at the table, come together, and work things out. It fosters good teamwork, and it helps everyone feel like they truly are contributing, like they are the heroes of the story, and not the play playthings of the dungeon master. And that's something that's just so wonderful and beautiful that D&D can do. Another thing that I got to see in real time, and really the guy's wife was probably the most surprised, is how Dungeons & Dragons can bring out skills that you didn't realize that you truly had. Not everyone's going to be a fantastic artist, but some people are going to figure out that they're really good into role-playing. Other people get the chance to show off that their math skills are really awesome, and not just simply that they can add and subtract and multiply, but also that they can understand trajectory, they can understand geography, and how that correlates with geometry to pull off some really neat feats depending on the environments that your characters are in. So everyone has a chance to discover something cool about themselves while playing this game. And that's something that we see throughout storytelling. A lot of people who get into storytelling at first, like, hey, I just have a story I want to tell. But as they get into that story, they begin to develop skills and discover talents that they didn't realize were in them, that they had at their disposal. And that's so dang cool. But one of the biggest lessons I take away from this is that, as I've said in the past, that the world needs your stories. I got to see that in practice with this game. Had the Dungeons & Dragons movie, the most recent one, never been made, this lawyer and his wife would never have been inspired to pick up the game because they thought it was too nerdy, too weird. But when they saw the movie, they're like, wow, that's really cool. Let's try playing the game. And by playing the game, they discovered new things about themselves. By playing the game, they were able to strengthen friendships with other people, bring people together to share these amazing community storytelling moments that uplifted everyone. You wouldn't have had that without the D&D movie, and we wouldn't have had these amazing experiences without the resulting campaign that was put together afterwards. A good story inspires people to go out and do other things. A good story motivates, uplifts, even if it deals with some pretty dark and heavy stuff. Like, I mean, the D&D movie does have its serious moments, and our campaign as well had its own serious moments, but that doesn't mean that it still can't be beautiful and uplifting and inspiring. And so, I will repeat again, as I've said many times before, you need your stories. Your stories need you, and the world needs your stories. And I got to see that in practice with this short campaign that was inspired by the latest Dungeons & Dragons movie. And so what I hope is that for anyone else who's looking for a good story, good movie, you know what? Go check out the D&D movie. Sure, it might not be exactly in the zeitgeist right now, but it's still a whole lot of fun. And if you're looking into getting into Dungeons & Dragons, there's loads of amazing people for you to get to know. And if you start playing the game, who knows what else you will discover along the way. Yes, there are a lot of really fun and hilarious and cringe-worthy horror stories that come out of D&D, but honestly, there's a lot of really great stories as well. So, with all of that being said, if you would like to support the work that we do here at Camille's Harem, then please like, comment, share, subscribe if you haven't already done so, and check out the books that we've published. Links for them are in the description below. Remember, great stories inspire people, and I guarantee that you will find some great stories in that list. It would really help us out a lot. But otherwise, thank you so much for joining us on this incredible adventure that we call writing. And until the next video, y'all, may the dice be in your favor, and tschüss.